Is Barcelona truly an affordable city to live in? Let's go through some of the things. Of course, like in most big cities, the most expensive thing you're going to have is rent. Rent here in Barcelona, though, can be very variable depending on what type of living situation you want to be in. If you want to go on the cheaper side, obviously sharing a room or staying in something like a co-living is going to be your cheapest option, especially if you want to be right in the city. So if you want to be right in the city, a shared room typically is going to run you between 500 and 800 euros, depending on the type of place and how many roommates and different neighborhoods and things like that. But that is kind of the general cost of what a shared room is going to be. And a full apartment can also vary as well, but right in the middle of the city, you're looking at around 1,100 to about 2,000 euros, depending on the place. Now, coming from America, this is going to seem very affordable, depending on obviously how much money you had made or saved up and things like that. But rent here is definitely way more affordable than it is in the US. Also, room sharing is not really a thing in the US, and co-living spaces aren't as well. So co-living is more for digital nomads or people traveling around for minimum 1 month you have to do. And you sometimes have your own room or a shared room. And it's pretty much just like staying in a shared house, pretty much. You can share bathrooms, they can be private, but it's normally a shared kitchen and common spaces. And then they normally have events for, just generating different ideas or businesses or just times to get together with one another. Food is also significantly cheaper here than in the US. Most of the time when you go to the grocery store here, getting healthy fruits and vegetables and good bread is only gonna run you like per, 2 bags of food, maybe 40 euros depending on what you get. So it's like a third or a fifth of the cost of what it is in the US, especially right now. Things are just so expensive there that the groceries and food here are cheap. A lot of the food is local. Same with like different wines and sodas, and a lot of products are local here to Spain. So it makes it a lot more affordable as well. And then you're helping out local communities instead of international brands. Is international foods at the store, the big brands like Ruffles or Pringles, but those are definitely a lot more expensive than the local brand name chips or things here at the store. A bag of that would probably cost you like 3 euros or something, versus like a local bag of Cheetos or something is going to run you only about 80 cents. Public transportation in Barcelona is significantly cheaper as well, especially compared to the bigger cities that actually have it. A lot of cities really don't even have public transportation, or it's really not used at all because it's kind of looked down on in the US, but here it's just the norm. So as somebody who is not local to here and doesn't have a residency card, so just a regular visa, a 1 month unlimited on all the public transportation is going to cost you $22 a month. So it is very affordable. I have heard from people who are residents and locals that they only pay about 13 euros a month. And then once you become a senior here, you can also get it for about 7 or 8 euros a month. So it makes living a lot more affordable. And I feel like it just gives people a chance to be out more. When you have an unlimited pass for 22 euros, the city is super well connected. It's easy to get around. There is a train you can get to from the airport on a special card, or it only costs 5 euros on the Aerobus to get there as well. So you have many different options and it's a lot more affordable. There is Uber here, but people don't use it as much. There's an app called Free Now, but also just hailing down a cab here is still just the regular way and easiest way to get a cab to go around the city. But most people don't really take that as often because it is more expensive, and people here just don't want to spend as much, or they don't have to spend as much. So they just take public transportation, and it runs 24/7. So it really works out well. Also, I feel like a big reason people are more social here is the cost of being social is a lot more affordable. So like going and getting coffee, especially just one of the regular kind of chain, I guess you'd call it a chain place here, that most people kind of go at, or the local chain bakeries, whatever, is going to cost you about €1.65-ish to €2, depending on where you are. So like you can just meet up with a friend, it's only going to cost 2 euros for a coffee, versus in the US, you go and meet up with someone, a coffee is like $8. So it really is a lot more affordable that way. And a lot of these places have deals too, like get a coffee and 2 croissants for $3.50, and you can get whole sandwiches at these places with meat and cheese and tomato for €4. So eating out is a lot more affordable as well. I definitely saw this excuse and a lot of people saying it in the US, which I totally understand. But going out with friends can just be so expensive because you can barely get an entree, especially in Chicago, for example, for under $25. Then you have to pay tax and tip and all that. Here, that's included in the price. There is no tipping, so what you pay for is what you get. There's a lot of really good chains here, like Honest Greens, for example, is really popular, but it is so worth the hype. It's good. You can get a full, healthy bowl, kind of like, you know, like a Chipotle kind of bowl vibe, like, but it's more lettuce than rice and beans. But it's still really filling and it's only €8. So you can go to dinner with a friend for under €10, especially if you're not drinking any alcohol or anything like that. It's really affordable. But even just to go get a glass of wine or a beer someplace, I think the cheapest I've ever paid for a beer here was like €1 at some places in Gracia. So you get 2 drinks for a couple of bucks, you know, so it's easy just to go out for an hour. And there's a lot of free activities in Barcelona, which helps as well. There's a lot of free meetups to make friends. You go for walks on the beach. You can go play beach volleyball for free. Just go and, you know, bring your own supplies, or there's ping pong tables or basketball courts, football fields / soccer, we call in America. So there's definitely a lot of different options for things. Barcelona is a super affordable city, especially if you're coming from the US. I think other European countries is probably comparable, but it kind of just depends obviously where you're coming from and how much you're used to spending per month. I think most people in Spain on average take home around 2,500 to 3,000 euros for an individual younger person. And that is definitely enough money to be comfortable and be able to do a lot of things you want to do in the city, especially because health insurance also is a lot cheaper. So if you move here and have to get the private insurance, which you need for your first 2 years here, the most expensive one is only around €100 a month, which is way less than I was paying for my health insurance that I got through my job. So if you're paying it on your own, you could easily pay $500-600 a month. And it's like the basic one, it covers like nothing. Here, that nice $100 one covers like everything. So that is definitely a lot more affordable. But once you're local here, you can get on the public one. And so it becomes even less as well. So it just all, of course, depends on your situation and things like that. I have a dog in Barcelona as well. And the vet here, the cost of food, the cost of most things is a lot cheaper as well. So that definitely helps if you're bringing an animal like a cat or a dog to Barcelona. A lot of the city is super pet friendly. The buses, the trains, the stores, the coffee shops, everything like that. So you really can be social with your animals if you so choose. Definitely don't have to be. The last point I'd like to make is Barcelona is a more expensive city in Spain to live in. So a lot of locals and Spaniards, Barcelona is very expensive. It is one of the more expensive cities in Barcelona. I don't know, I think it's smaller than Madrid, but it's comparable in size and people, and those 2 cities are the most expensive in Spain. So there are even cheaper cities you can go to in Spain, you know, such as like Valencia or Malaga. I mean, there's so many good cities in Spain you can live in, but just as kind of main options a lot of people know and recognize. There are a lot more affordable cities. So if you want to come to Spain and even here is too expensive, I would definitely do research and look into other cities in Spain that are more affordable, because there are cheaper options that still have the great weather and the great culture, and everything is close and connected. There's trains and buses between all the big cities, or you could even fly very inexpensively through like Ryanair or Wizz Air or something like that. So it's easy to travel around if you wanted to have a home base somewhere that was more affordable, but then travel to a place here like Barcelona for a weekend or anything like that for different festivals that are around the country and everything. So I would definitely recommend coming to Barcelona if you're looking for a more affordable option. If you're coming from the US, the weather is great. I've really enjoyed the people and learning the language and things like that. I had been here once before, so I knew I wanted to try it out again. I think you have to give most places a year to see if it really is, but at least from an affordability standpoint, as an American, it's so much more affordable. You're spending a lot less money. You feel better, you know, less chemicals in the food, and just a healthier, more social lifestyle, which is good just for humans in general. So I would definitely recommend it. I definitely think it's budget friendly. Of course, you can do things even cheaper, like eat out even less, get the cheaper food at the store, like You can spend even less than some of the examples I gave. It just depends on what you're doing and what you're looking for here. So I hope this helps if anyone's thinking of traveling or moving to Barcelona, Spain, and asking if it was affordable or not. And it definitely is.